Hey guys, how we doing? We are going to be doing a tune-up on a Tomy Turbo chassis today, which a lot of you will have done. If you're here, you've probably seen these 1,000 times. They're the most common chassis going around. Also probably the easiest to service and get running. This is one I got from Japan recently, and whilst it looks and runs just on a 9-volt, it doesn't run great. We need to do a look at replacing the pickup shoes. They've been sanded not very well, and we need to make a better electrical contact. We'll check out the shoe hangers and the springs, if they're okay or not. We're going to pull this completely down. We'll even remove the armature, which is a bit tricky, but well worth the effort. Alright, let's go. Pop the rear axle out. Now the crown looks okay, but the pinion's definitely no good. Pop that in there for now. Let's just remove the clip. It'll loose this one. Put that aside. And from there, the motor will literally just push up from the bottom, hold the side of the chassis, and just push it from underneath, and it should just pop out. Easy done. The magnet we will remove. It's a narrow magnet. We might replace it with a wider one. You get a bit better grip, but we'll see. Okay, here's our motor, which doesn't appear to be any major debris stuck to the magnets, so this should clean up pretty well. There's a little bit of muck around the end on the bearing. You can see that the motors always have a little red dot on the top left. Alright, little texture mark. I'm actually going to add a bit more to that just so I know, because it has to go back in the same way or it will run backwards. And we actually clean it. There's a couple of ways we can do the motor. Pop that down for the moment. Let's remove the pickup shoes. Get rid of those. The springs, they look okay. We'll keep the springs, but the shoes are stuffed. So just move those. That one's got a little bend in it, but it looks okay. Pop the front axle out. Easy done. Oop, keep it in the camera. And the hangers should just pop off. We might need a screwdriver just to flick them off. There we go, they just push from underneath. Usually, there's one, there's two. Pin can stay in. Check for any damage behind where the pin sits, because sometimes it can crack, particularly on Super G+, but turbos are pretty good. Check also around where the pickup shoes go if there's any flashing from the mold that the shoes can get stuck on. This one looks pretty damn good actually. I did another one the other day which was really bad. That's good. A little bit of dirt in there. Alright, let's clean the body first. Remove these. This is the best thing I use. This is a denture brush. Soft bristles. Pop that in a cleaner. You can use, here in Australia we use methylated spirits mainly. But you can certainly use isopropyl alcohol. Put this just over the tray. Bit of broken clip in there from another one. Make sure you get in behind the axle holes, get all the dirt out. Be amazed how much crap gets stuck in there. Cleaner the better. And that will just evaporate. We might just give it a quick wipe. Alright, pop that aside. Let's check out our shoe hangers. There's in some tweezers, so we can check them out. They are slightly corroded. If you can see that, that's very blurry. There's a fair bit of corrosion on these. Now obviously the better electrical contact you can get, the faster your car's going to go, because the motor will run so much better. Now we could clean these up with a bit of 1200 wet and dry, or we could replace them, depending on what you've got. These ones are slightly bent too. I don't know if you can see the angle on that little part at the back there. It's pretty bent. So I'm actually going to fold that back down until it's 90 degrees, until it's parallel, sorry. And remember that where the spring goes to there should be 90 degrees. If you do need to polish them, you polish the underside of the tab, just here, and in where the shoe on that little catch part. So a bit of 1200 wet and dry. Which I've got somewhere. So just a bit of 1200 on there. Sure it comes up clean. The best thing to do, and I'm going to move out of camera here, is just drop this on the edge of the bench, edge of the table. Sit it down flat. I apologise you can't see this, but you'll see the difference. Hopefully. Alright, that's now really clean. Alright, so where the spring sits. And we also want to get in under the edge here, just on there. And that little tag on the little hanger part where the shoe goes. And that will ensure that it's nice and clean. We also want to get on the back where the motor tabs sit. So I'm going to put that on the bench, on the table. On the back there. Alright, that's pretty good, that's one. And I'll do the flat side just out of focus under there, just on the edge of the table. That's good. Again on the back where the motor hanger sits. Nice and polished. And again just under that little tag. Just there. Not easy to do, but worth it. Let's do the other side as well. Little things like that make the world of difference. Okay, I said we're going to replace the shoes so they can get, oh, they're my new ones. New shoes. And these are new hangers if we needed them. Okay. I do have new springs there, but I probably won't use those. Alright, that's actually the easy part, cleaning those. Let's have a look at our motor. Okay, there's a whole heap of crap. Lint, dirt, and that pinion gear is stuffed. So we're going to remove the pinion gear. If you do have a removal tool, it's pretty simple to use. If you don't, just use a screwdriver. Just in behind, slide it up, pops it off. So we're going to throw that away. Alright, so I'm going to edit this and show how to, I just use electrical contact cleaner, which if you get right inside the brushes removes 99% of the crap that gets inside there. And if there's any lint or hair or dirt, you can get it out. So I'm just going to spray the motor with contact cleaner, electrical contact cleaner. WD-40 brand, doesn't really matter what you use. My motor is out. And you notice the top left is always marked with a red texture, but I always add a little bit more, just so it goes back in the right way. This motor's from another car, from the one we were pulling out. This is just for a demo. So I just spray it. Stuff dries completely. Don't have to wipe it, blow it out, nothing. Get it right inside the bushes. Clean the arm. Alright, I'm just going to give it a little spin, and that'll be it. Or we can strip it completely, which is what we're going to do. Being very careful not to damage anything. So, we need a very small screwdriver with a sharp point. And we need to bend these tabs up just slightly on each side. Very, very carefully. Just enough. Can't get that screwdriver in. You do need a really sharp point on the end of your screwdriver. That's it. You only need to make them parallel. They're already bent down a little bit. Don't overbend them because they will snap. Turn it over. Make sure you don't flare them out. This one's been stubborn. There we go. You can see they're just parallel now. I'm also going to mark the side here that's the same color so that the magnets go back in the same way as the housing on the end bell. Alright, so we have our end bell removal tool, which is just a couple of prongs. We put that in the end of the housing. It's a pretty snug fit. We're going to turn just so you can just turn up the bushes slightly. Alright, and that will just slide out. There's that part. We're going to clean that. And we can now just remove our armature from the back bearing. Alright, so we inspect inside. Make sure there's no metal parts, filings, track debris stuck to the magnets. This one is really clean. Tiny little bit there. Alright, so we're going to clean the back bearing. Again, a little denture brush straight through the back hole and push it straight through like that. Same with the end bell here. We can go and spray this with electrical contact cleaner as well, same as the motor. So I might actually do that really quickly. Pause. Okay, so my end bell is now beautiful and clean. You see inside there, sprayed with electrical contact cleaner. Gets all the muck out, all the grease out of the bearing. Pop that back down. And now we can polish our armature. You can see the armature is a little bit worn, pretty dirty on the end. Now there's two little bushes on the end of any armature. Use fingernails is the easiest thing to do if you've got them. And there's always two, white one and a red one. The red one goes against the armature. Okay. Pop those off. You just see them. There's two. Don't lose them. Okay. So let's polish our armature. We're going to put the back end in a drill. Ooh. Now here's an example why we pull these out. This is at the back end. Look at all the lint build up on the back of this. Look at this. If you do not pull out the motor, pull out the armature, you will never get this out, and that will be binding on the back bearing really badly. Tweezers. Get that well out of the way. Still a bit more there. And this gets from running slot cars on carpet. Okay, one little bit more. Alright, there we go. Back end, much better. Okay, grab my drill. Pop the back end in. You don't want high speed. When you polish the arm, you want to use worn out 1200 sandpaper. So the little pieces that come with AFX sets are usually pretty good if they've been worn out, which this one has. So we're just going to put that on the very edge. All it needs. That's all it needs. Now that is beautifully clean. Really, really clean. A few more bits of lint just stuck to the outside of the arm. Alright, so I'm just going to wipe that. You could use contact cleaner again, but it should be clean. Okay, that's our arm done. Here's the drill. And I'm just going to give these little spaces, little bushes of white. Push the red one back on. White one is a bit dirtier. Okay, stuck there. Back on the end. There's still lint stuck around that front of the arm there. I'm going to get rid of every last bit of it if there's still any. Tedious. Okay, that's my arm. I can get my end bell. Get the prongs back through. So I'm going to spread the bushes now. Ooh, my bearing has spun. Watch the bearing doesn't spin. Spread them apart. Put that back in. Release the arms. Pull that out. That is a self-centering bearing. That's why it moved. Okay, left red dot, left side. Slide that back in carefully. Line up the tabs. There we go. Clicked back in. Now we need some needle nose pliers. So here's how I do it. I push with my back finger, with a finger there, and pull that way with these two fingers. Pliers just on those two tabs, and just pull them back down gently. So they're just on an angle, that's all it needs, just to hold them in. Turn them over. If they do flare out a bit, just very gently squeeze them back in, really gently. Check that spins freely. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to replace our pinion. So let's grab that. Again, if you've got a tool you can use, this is a 7-tooth pinion. This is from Harden Creek, this tool. You don't necessarily need it. Sometimes they're really hard to get in the hole. There we go. That's on there. Push that back on. All it needs. Okay. We're now going to get a little bit of oil while the motor's out, just in that back bearing. Tiny little drop. I like to spin it and give it a blow. Work the oil into it. Same on the front. In fact, the best thing to do is to pop it on the battery. Negative to the right. Beautiful, lots of overrun there at the end. That sounds good. Okay, let's get it back together. Shoe hangers. Pop them over the top. They've got a key in just next to the side there. One. Two. Okay. Now the front tabs here, the contact points, we're just going to bend those back a bit on the sides. Always make sure these little bits here are not cracked, because they can split. Make sure they're forward just a little bit. Again, top left where the red part is. Angle down slightly. If you can push it forward, it's good. You just got to push the hangers. If you can't get it in like that, sometimes with the pushing the hangers it doesn't work. So now you can see that they will bind. Alright, so what we're going to do is reach underneath here and just push the shoe hangers forward as I push down, because that will help get it seated. That one's forward, that one's forward, down it goes. Motor in. Now to get the magnet in, I said I'm just going to probably put a wide bar in, so just pause. So that's the difference with our magnets. One's just slightly wider. Extra tags on it makes you a bit better grip around the corners. So I just need to lift just the back of the motor back up a little bit. Slide that back in, groove to the top, narrow part towards the wheels. Slide that in, drop the motor down. Get my clip, pop that back down. Motor is secure, that's it. Alright, springs. Pop that in the hole. New shoe. Now you can do this two ways. You can put the hook under, fold it down, bend the front forward, which sometimes pushes the spring out, as just happened there. Or the other way is push the back down, slide it under the clip. Probably a better way to do it. Check that they're even. Check the bends at the front are the same, particularly if you fold the front out. Should be dead the same. We can level them up once we get it onto a track. Check for continuity again. So now we've got some good contact to our motor. The bushings are oiled. Okay. Let's get rid of these horrible tyres. They are wrecked. Absolutely split. Now, if we're going to salvage this axle, this came with grey wheels. Grey ones are a little less common. We might just pop these off with my puller. Make sure that goes to the hole. This is not a great bearing puller from Mid-America. Screw that off. Other side, and we'll be able to shim any free play in the back axle, and it's much easier to get rid of the dirt. Okay, let's get rid of any crap off there, which there's a bit. Get my pen. The more dirt you get rid of, and lint particularly on the back axle, the better it's going to be. Down in the gear as well. I'm going to use my, there's a bit of crap there. Pin stuck to the magnet. I'm going to use my lint brush in this back gear. Oh, the hair's coming out, look at that. See that? Wrapped around on the inside. That'll eventually get stuck. I'm just going to pop this in by itself. See how it sounds and how much free play there is. So what we need to do is look for any free play and how much there is in that top end. There's not a lot there. It actually looks really good. Let's have a listen to it. Pretty good. Spins alright. Not binding. Running true. Okay. Let's get our wheels back on. Again, not great bearing presses or wheel presses, these ones, but they'll do. Just make sure it's on straight. And that the gear didn't slip, which I think it did. I think the gear slipped. Oh boy, did the gear slip. Okay, now I need to push it back. Okay, wheel one. Probably do it a little bit more. Okay, check that. Alright, the other side you can do in situ if we have to. Now make sure they're even. Axle is through. You don't want too much gap. Sorry for my camera work. Okay. That looks good. A little bit of oil in that gear. Underneath, just a drop. On the battery again. Beautiful. Okay, front axle. Yeah, front tires are cooked. Nothing to really clean on the front, which is good. Click that in. You really don't need to oil the front, you can. You can make sure there's not too much free play. Let's get some new tyres on it. These are just stock rubber tyres. Alright, old Tomy stock, which I happen to have. You can obviously put anything you like on. But to keep this standard, make sure they're true. Front. A little bit of wobble. Classic AFX front axles. Okay, I'm just going to give them a clean anyway, even though they're new. Lint roller. With that new tyres, still getting debris off them. Nice and clean. Front one's okay. Alright, back in our body. Taka Q. So I'm just going to give that a little wipe first. Get the dirt and dust out. Look at that. Beautiful. See how it runs. Sounds sweet. That's it, guys. Simple. Takes about 15 minutes, honestly, once you get the hang of it, and stripping that motor right down, and it's well worth it. That car is running beautifully. Thanks for watching.